Hi, I'm Sydney, and today I'm going to be talking about Hulu's The Act, Episode 7, Bonnie and Clyde. So, sorry this episode is a day later than I would normally post. Man, my brain feels like mush right now. I just got back from the Grand Canyon yesterday, so I am posting this Friday instead of Thursday. Say hello, Travis.
Hello.
Are you tired as well?
I am exhausted.
As always, warning, spoilers, if you haven't seen it yet, go check it out. I want to start off by saying that I really liked the structure of this episode with it being very linear. I personally was getting really worn out by the flashbacks, so it was off to a good start. The episode starts with Nick and Gypsy happy on the bus on the way to Big Bend, Wisconsin. Once they arrive, Nick's mom, Stephanie, picks them up. Nick's mom is played by the incredible, wonderful, awesome Juliette Lewis. This is really a super incredible role for her because in a way she played a Bonnie and Clyde-esque character herself in Oliver Stone's Natural Born Killers. So for her to be on the other side of that as more of like the innocent bystander spectator, it's really interesting. Nick's mom is pretty consistently really rude to Gypsy, and one of the very first things she even says to her is, you got yourself a chirpy one, huh, Nick? Like, I don't know, she's just really rude. We also meet Vance, who is Nick's stepdad, and he's just super like lazy and oaky kind of guy. For Gypsy in this episode, the fantasy just continues to disintegrate. She just overall seems really sketched out inside of Nick's home. She's very uncomfortable. It doesn't feel like her space, and there's never any food in the house. Gypsy also in a weird way is kind of missing her mom because she's complaining that Nick's mom doesn't provide for him, and then even at one point she gets very defensive of her mom and proving of her mom's character when she comes up in conversation with Nick's mom. Gypsy really wants to go home, but at the very least she wants someone to find Dee Dee's body. This leads to Gypsy and Nick writing the infamous Facebook post. Before I'd even seen this series, I was aware of them. Even though I still haven't seen the documentary, I had seen these posts. This ultimately leads to Dee Dee's body being found and their arrest. Gypsy and Nick are kind of frustratingly dumb in this episode. I know them being dumb is a result of many things, and I don't mean to make light of mental illness either, but watching them be so clueless is very frustrating because they are very capable in many ways. They just seem very naive, I guess, because when they make these Facebook posts, they're not even that concerned about the location not being turned off, even though they're where the location was on in those posts. Like, I'm shocked that wasn't more of a bigger deal to them. And actually, as I mentioned in the last episode, I'm super shocked that the murder weapon actually got sent through the mail and it processed completely, because I thought for sure like a knife, just a plain old knife, not even wrapped up inside of a bag, would have gotten flagged through the postal service or something. But really the biggest thing delved into and revealed in this episode is that Gypsy is not so innocent. First off, we have Gypsy coaching Nick on how to steal food at the grocery store, and that's all stuff that I'm sure her mom had taught her how to do over the years. Gypsy wants them to hide the murder weapon, and she even mentions that dark is good. So like she has some sense to her in knowing to try to hide the knife at nighttime. And with that in mind, in this case, the insanity plea is just completely off the table now because they clearly are trying to cover up what they've done. And with that in mind, they have an understanding that what they have done is wrong. In that sense, yeah, Gypsy knew that what was happening was not good. And because of that, my view of Gypsy being completely innocent and the victim has just completely been lost. But one of the most betraying, harsh, savage moments of this episode is after they are arrested. So the SWAT team comes, it's just super crazy, and Gypsy instructs Nick, just tell them the truth. You saved me. We didn't do anything wrong. Basically, she just tells him to just tell the truth. I don't believe that she thinks they're innocent though, or she's just in major denial or something. If she really, if she really believes that they were innocent, she wouldn't have been so fearful of the consequences. In the past 2 episodes, she wouldn't have been so paranoid and concerned about wanting to cover up what they've done. When they are in custody being interrogated, she immediately backstabs no pun intended, Nick. She immediately lies and acts like she doesn't even know that her mom's dead right after telling Nick to just tell the truth. She's a con, she's a liar, and yeah, she's really scared, but she's also she's a fraud. She's a fraud. Nick's interrogation felt really sad to me. He's got some very clear mental issues. And this episode in general really just frames Gypsy in a negative light, and they particularly make Nick to be this guy who murdered but out of good intention, and he thought he was saving Gypsy and he wanted to start a life and a family with her. And on point with Gypsy not looking very good in this episode, Nick's mom, when she's being interrogated, makes a really good point when she says she's mortified at how casual Nick, but particularly Gypsy, were acting. Especially, too, because their mom came in, Gypsy, I can't talk.
I'm
tired. Even when Gypsy's mom came into the conversation, Gypsy was acting still quite casual for Dee Dee having just been murdered. Nick's mom says, that girl is a beast. On a final note, as she's totally lying during her interrogation, she ends it by asking if she's going to be able to see the new Star Wars film. Like, that is just so cold and removed from what is happening. It just kind of felt like, really? Like, that's what you're asking right now? That is what's on your mind? The first half of the series, or even up until here, Gypsy is truly made out to be a victim. In this episode, it's really refreshing to see her put in this bad light, because people aren't just good or just bad, and people are more dynamic and complicated than that. I just wish that they would have made her out to be more human in that way from the beginning. The episode ends with them getting booked, and they show a sort of reenactment of Gypsy walking out into the courtroom, and this is really powerful because for the first time for a lot of people on television, they're seeing that Gypsy can walk, that Gypsy has hair, that Gypsy's not actually sick. So with only one episode left, I'm really curious how they're going to wrap everything up. I still feel like there's so much more to delve into, and how they are going to attempt to leave audiences feeling about Gypsy, Dee Dee, and Nick. Like I've said before, watching the show very objectively, it makes me feel very specifically about each of them. But then after doing research and looking into what truly happened, it completely has changed many of my opinions and outlooks on things. So be entertained, watch the show, but do your research. The final episode of The Act airs on Hulu next Wednesday. If you liked this video, subscribe for more content. And if you didn't, I understand, because I'm really tired and just vomit is coming out of my mouth, but not literally, just verbally.
Woo!
Yeah, subscribe.